All right, so your class kit, guys, you're gonna set a dual PVS 14s, and we're either using PEC 15s, D-balls, or OTALs, and then we have obviously white and IR light that's gonna go on your rifle. That way you get all the kit necessary to run this class.
You're gonna wanna come up to.
Now guys, when we're setting these guns up, we want everything to make sense. Everything needs to be positioned so there's a minimal amount of movement to hit it, but we also want to put it in a place where we don't hit it on accident. Depending on the length of your rail system, I know you're running that 10-inch, you might have to vote some accessories off the island, so to speak. So we're gonna have our PEC, and then we're gonna have a pressure pad for our light system. We have our red dot system, which we will use under certain drills, certain situations. And as you notice, I don't have any iron sights on here because I've already got 2 sighting systems that I'll be able to use under low light conditions if I absolutely have to. So just based on rail space, I might vote my rear sights off the island. You're running that 10-inch, you're probably gonna have to do the same thing just based on where everything is going. And obviously we want to mid-mount our pressure pads, our control features, so if we have to transition the rifle to the other side of the body or anything like that, we're still able to control the weapon.
What about mounting a laser behind the pad, behind your front sight?
Oh, behind the front sight? Well, if rail space is at a premium, some of your front sights, and even if, like, say you're running like an X300U at like a rhino position, the 12 o'clock, if you put that laser, the further back we move our PEC or our D-ball or something like that, the more chance we have of that IR laser blooming off the weapon accessories. We need to make sure that laser, both the visible and the IR, and hopefully the illuminator, clear any accessories we have. So me personally, if I'm setting things up for night vision mission, I'm using night vision primarily, I want to push that PEC as far forward on the rifle as I can so it takes priority for my aiming system. So depending on what kind of front sight you use, flip up or an A-post or what have you, I know you're running a flip up, it could, once we put it under night vision, we might see bounce back off of that, and that's not good. Hold up. The whole point is to get you used to the weight of the kit and uncomfortable positions. So when you get underneath there, I want you to really focus on your accuracy because you're not going to get too many chances to train like this if you don't own this kind of gear. Once you get this kind of gear, you can. Go ahead and focus on the accuracy, slow it down a little bit. Once you get that envelope and you feel like you're comfortable, go ahead and speed it up. There you go, pick up the pace a little bit.
Standing 2. Kneeling 2. Prone 2.
All right, so when we start talking about body kit plate carriers, I know everybody, it's on the packing list, everybody brought a plate carrier. We want to make sure we can move the rifle around the plate carrier, right? And I'm sure we've talked about this before. Some of you've actually been in rifle class with me before. You know I'm all about sling management. Anytime my hands are on the rifle, I run that sling all the way out as fast as possible. So if for any reason I need to transition side to side, I can still do that even with a plate carrier on. It's super easy if you're just wearing a t-shirt. When we guys start putting kit on, they start, especially if you're not used to running a plate carrier, especially in a class, maybe you tried it on, kind of danced around the room, checked it out in the mirror or something, but you didn't actually run a class with it or go out and really use it for practice or training, you can have some difficulties with that. Especially with the way that we aim and the way that we shoot, using IR versus optics. You don't necessarily acquire or able to acquire necessarily a full cheek weld, so that does kind of complicate. Like I'm up here, I'm on the gun, right? Well, if I'm using IR, I don't have to be sucked into the rifle so much. I can bring it down like this so I can still get a clear field of vision on my night vision, but I'm able to see where my laser is going, I'm able to see where I need to hit. Magazines, if you're not used to taking magazines off your chest, We're going to go over it in the daylight, but it's going to be further complicated by the fact that your peripheral vision and your lower vision, your near focus, is going to be super blurry because of the way night vision.
Reload it.
So either if I'm performing an administrative reload, or if I'm performing a slide lock reload or tactical reload or whatever you want to call it, go ahead and rack the gun if I need to, and then if I'm not sure if a round chamber and I have gloves on, I can't feel that loaded chamber indicator on the extractor, I can pull the slide back, feel brass, know there's a round in there, and then the pistol's good to go. I can either holster it up, go behind cover, get out from behind cover, get back in the fight. Now you right-handed guys have a little bit easier. All you gotta do is forward check, index finger in. You can verify there's brass in the gun. You don't have to worry about using a flashlight or anything like that. So that's how we're gonna do a physical chamber check on the pistol. All right guys, just for range safety, especially once it gets dark, we start going night vision. Just talking about the features we have on the helmets. We have an IR visible, so if we need to, probably will be able to track people as they move around the range. It's gonna be constantly visible by anybody wearing night vision. And then we have a naked eye visible, colored beam. And then back here, this device right here, for any reason, if we need to call a ceasefire, we're just kind of indexing the drill or whatever, I can hit this button on the back of your head, or you can hit the button on the back of somebody else's head. It causes a vibration, and we get an IR strobe, so everyone's going to be able to see it. Anytime you see that, that's an automatic ceasefire. We're going to stop doing whatever we're doing, either reset the drill or deal with the emergency situation that caused the ceasefire to begin with. And also, of course, we'll get your nod set up, we'll get everything indexed to your head, and then we're going to run pick rail on all the side of the helmets. We're going to be able to run white or IR or a combination of both. All right guys, one of the things we want to talk about is basically your intent with night vision. If I'm using IR and I'm running night vision, that means I'm probably invisible to the people I'm dealing with, right? So if for any reason, depending on intent, mission, occupation, what have you, if I need to issue verbals or I need to, start handcuffing people or whatever the situation is, maybe when I engage the bad guys, I'm completely concealed from them by darkness and the fact that I'm using night vision. If any time I need to go hands-on, if I'm still running night vision, maybe all they saw was some muzzle flashes or something like that, they don't necessarily know where I am. If I start screaming verbals, what good does that do me, really? It adds confusion to the situation. It may force you to possibly engage the people you didn't want to engage, whatever the situation is, so I need to be able to go white light. One of the biggest problems with going white light is I've got my nods on. I've got my night vision down, I've got my rifle up. If I find myself in a situation where I want to start issuing verbals, I put down a couple of the bad guys, the hospitals, what have you, and it's time to go white light, if I'm working with a team or something like that, I'd be like, white light, white light, white light, whatever your code word for it is, and then instead of screwing around with your nods and trying to fold them up and stuff like that, I can simply elevate my head, and now I can get an aiming cheek weld on my optic. That's why we leave our optics on a low setting. So if we do go white light, the optic's ready to go, and all I have to do is look up, at least briefly, and I can engage, use my light, issue verbal commands, go hands-on. Once I get a proper control, then I can flip my nods up, then I can go to white light on my helmet or whatever I'm gonna do.
Reload
IR is being exaggerated, but you know, it's a little beam.
White light, white light, white light! Hands, hands, look at me! Get your hands! Get it up! Get it up! Get it up! Get it up!
You got the ass lock. Yeah, on purpose. Get it up! So, okay, breezes and it goes, what we're talking about. Some people do. I like fucking. What about jazz hands? Nice hands, jazz hands.